All right. Hello, everyone, and thank you all for joining us during the Lytham Partners Fall 2023 Investor Conference. My name is Robert Blum, Managing Partner of Lytham Partners. During this webcast, we welcome SenesTech, ticker symbol of SNES on the NASDAQ. And joining us today from the company is its President and Chief Executive Officer, Joel Fruent, and Tom Chesterman, the company's Chief Financial Officer. Before I turn the floor over to Joel and Tom to run through the company's slide presentation, I just want to remind everyone that management is available for one-on-one meetings later today. If you've not already signed up for one and would like to do so, send me an email. That's Blum, B-L-U-M, at lythampartners.com, or visit the website, lythampartners.com/virtual. Click on the one-on-one meeting request button, and we will look to get you taken care of. With that said, gentlemen, the floor is yours.
Good day, everyone. From all of us at SenesTech, thank you for joining us today during our presentation at the Lytham Partners Fall 2023 Investor Conference. Please be advised that we may be making forward-looking statements during today's presentation. So at SenesTech, we have a significant opportunity to create something special. It's why I joined the company in November of last year. We are addressing one of the world's most challenging problems, rodent control, through a completely different way than has ever been done before, by addressing the root cause of the problem, reproduction. The existing solutions' effectiveness, namely poisons that are in the marketplace, are limited by rats' reproduction rates, resistance, and aversion, as well as the enhanced social and political limitations on the use of poison. I'll touch on all of these in a moment. As communities increasingly look to deploy sustainable, effective solutions, fertility control fits right in with that objective. Products that can be paradigm changing don't come along very often, but when they do, they have an opportunity to change the way things have been done for generations. And at SenesTech, we can do that. So this is an investment conference, so we'll highlight a few key reasons why we believe SenesTech represents a compelling opportunity beyond what I just mentioned. As you can see at the chart on the right, we have been consistently growing revenues with an 87% CAGR over the past few years. Our Q2 2023 revenue was a new company record, up 31% sequentially from Q2 of last year. We also made significant progress by reducing our adjusted EBITDA loss, which was the best it has been in 2 years, as we brought efficiencies to many aspects of the organization, and we set in place key initiatives, which are now showing results. We will go to the financials in more depth towards the end. Beyond the growth trajectory of the company, we operate in a very large industry, with the company initially targeting the market in the U.S., which spends upwards of $1 billion annually on rodenticides. Importantly, we have a product that will deliver value for our customers, showing up to 90% more improvement in outcomes when added to integrated pest management programs. And down the road, our core fertility technology can be applied to other mammalian pest populations. So in summary, a paradigm-changing product that works, a large addressable market, which can be expanded on in the future, and rapid revenue growth and improved profitability metrics. So taking a step back, why is there a need for our products? First off, having too many rats is a huge problem for society. One we're spending millions on because they cost billions, and yet this problem is not a new one. It's been an age-old problem, usually addressed with lethal options using poisons or less than humane traps. But these options are not keeping up. On the contrary, it appears rat infestations are getting worse. But it's simply more than rats are a pest issue. They cause real impacts to society. From a public health standpoint, rats present enormous global public health risks and are significant vectors for disease. From a food supply standpoint, rats destroy 20% of the world's stored food through consumption or contamination, and they are highly destructive. Rats cause over $27 billion of infrastructure damage per year in the US alone. So moreover, the current options of rodenticides or poisons can pose a very real danger to people, to pets, and wildlife. Sometimes the wrong things get poisoned. So our solution, ContraPest, it's an effective, humane, and environmentally friendly way of controlling this animal pest population through fertility control. Why do we believe fertility control is the answer, and why do other solutions fail? Traditional pest control tools like lethal poisons seek to control the death rate and are therefore very reactive. The challenge, as we see it, is the incredible rate of reproduction of the rats. So given sufficient food, water, and harborage, 2 breeding rats can result in 15,000 offspring after a single year. In fact, the largest pest company in the world, Rent-A-Kill, commissioned an interactive study, The Rise of Rats, that revealed how a pair of rats could produce nearly 500 million descendants in just 3 years. 500 million. You cannot poison them or trap them or gas them fast enough to overcome their fertility. You need to control the population by reducing the birth rate. Furthermore, there's a phenomenon called rebound. When you knock the population down via lethal means, you never get them all. The survivors have an increased food supply for themselves and may have been selected for resistance or avoidance. Their reproductive rate makes the population rebound to the original level quickly. So our product, ContraPest, addresses this reproductive as well as resistance challenge. As I mentioned at the beginning, we think of this as rodent birth control. It's unique, patented contraceptive technology that reduces or eliminates fertility in both male and female rats. The fertility control is currently delivered in a liquid form, as rats need to consume about 10% of their body weight in water each day. So it's very palatable to rats. It's sweet, it's fatty, and keeps the rats coming back for more. We are expanding to a soft bait formulation later this year, which I will touch on more in a moment. Furthermore, ContraPest has been designed and deployed in a manner to present fewer risks to non-target species like kids and dogs and other animals. It metabolizes inside the rat quickly, so there's little risk of secondary exposure. So simply put, ContraPest is an effective, efficacious, and earth-friendly sustainable solution that allows end users to minimize risk to handlers and non-target species, which addresses key environmental and public health risks. So as you can see on this slide, adding ContraPest to an integrated pest management program has been proven to improve efficacy by over 90%. It's important to note, however, that different customers have different reasons to be satisfied. In the poultry industry, rat infestations cost money as the rats consume or contaminate feed. They feed on chicks, they damage equipment, and as the labor required to control the infestation increases. We recently completed 2 studies in the poultry industry. In the first, a West Coast egg farm, ContraPest was added to the existing integrated pest management program. The rat populations were surveyed monthly for over a year to measure the reduction in rat activity through ContraPest treatment. Final results confirmed what we had suspected. That ContraPest cut the rat population in half in 3 months and produced a sustained 90% reduction over the 12-month study. And then in the second deployment, an East Coast pullet farm, ContraPest was added to the existing integrated pest management program. Staff reported an 88% improvement in pullet survival after reducing the rat population with ContraPest. So where it really hits home, the annual benefit projected by the customer of adding ContraPest to their pest management program was over $600,000 in increased revenue and decreased cost. The overall investment in ContraPest over the same period was less than $10,000. So as you can see, it was a fantastic return on their investment. And while these deployments were at poultry facilities, the results are immediately applicable to many other agricultural positions. Anywhere there's grain or feed, there is a potential for rat infestations. And ContraPest is proven in the field to dramatically reduce those infestations. They reduce their negative economic impact, and they improve their overall food security. On the right side of the slide, in the urban setting, customer satisfaction is in fewer rat sightings. It's more political, more social, and public health driven. In this long-term study, working with local authorities, we were able to prove decreased activity by 94 to 99% with no rebound. In addition, the proportion of juveniles to adults decreased by 98 to 99%. So simply put, it works. But as many of you know, sometimes having a product that works is not always enough. You need to make sure that it fits into the existing business model of those that deliver the service. For decades, the pest management industry has built their integrated pest management programs, or IPM programs, around poisons, and to a lesser extent, tools such as traps, drowning, and gassing. Again, they have only been addressing one side of the equation, the death rate. It's more important to note that, to some extent, the business model for pest management professionals has been, how do I get a customer to keep coming back, rather than how do I solve the customer's problem? Maybe by design, maybe the lack of effective solutions that address the root cause of the problem. Unfortunately, this means that the industry in some ways relies on failure to drive its business model, an important point to keep in mind when it comes to how we position ContraPest in the marketplace. So from our standpoint, to be successful, we need to not only educate the PMP market that they can make money by deploying ContraPest, but we also need to market to the end user to have them demand ContraPest be included in their IPM programs. We have likened this to the pharmaceutical industry, and that prescription drugs need to be prescribed by a doctor, even though they're ultimately consumed by a patient and paid for by insurance. Because ContraPest is a contraceptive and not a sterilant, meaning it needs to be continuously deployed to be effective, we believe that the pest management industry can continue to make money by integrating ContraPest into their toolbox. This is how we address the how do I get a customer to keep coming back aspect of the equation. As I mentioned a moment ago, ContraPest showed up to 90% or more improvement in outcomes when added into existing integrated pest management programs. Whatever IPM strategy is being employed, it simply works better with ContraPest. This addresses the how do I solve the customer's problem part of the equation. We believe that ContraPest is a win-win for both pest management professionals and the customers that use it. So building on that trend, how do we sell ContraPest? So as you can see from this slide, we have implemented a multi-pronged go-to-market approach, selling to key end markets of agribusiness, municipalities, and government agencies, zoos, sanctuaries, commercial pest control businesses, and finally, e-commerce, including do-it-yourselfers. In commercializing any disruptive or innovative technology, it is imperative to identify a limited number of high potential market segments on which to focus. These high potential segments are chosen based on economic potential, access, and or the ability to use them as reference points. As mentioned a moment ago, pest management professionals often sit smack dab in the middle of us and our customers. Often we need to work with them to deliver our solutions, which is why creating the win-win scenario is so very important. So let's expand on this in the coming slides. When I took over as CEO in the November of last year, I articulated 3 imperatives for us to be successful. We needed to sell better in a different way. We need to make better products, and we need to give the customers more choices. So the first topic is, how do we sell and how do we sell better? So one of the first things we did was to redeploy and refocus our direct sales efforts to enhance our customer acquisition capabilities, while also putting our sales reps closer to the customers to focus on the numerous large opportunities that are available for our unique fertility control product. Next, we expanded our field sales organization, each deployed by a geography with sales leadership in both the eastern and western half of the U.S. This strong regional focus on new customer acquisitions through an expanded commercial team and new depths of vertical industry knowledge to get in front of decision makers is all designed to tighten the sales cycle and ultimately drive revenue. We've also made some changes in the leadership. I have taken over direct leadership of the commercialization efforts. We are also moving our outsourced marketing to a new group, the Dorn Group, with whom I've had much success in the past. And beyond our field improvements, we also made significant improvements to our e-commerce platform, not only on the growth side, but the profitability side of the equation as well. We have reconfigured our marketing spend and have added additional products and options to our site, such as a 12-month prepay subscription for e-commerce customers, and also convenience items. Currently, about half of our revenue comes through e-commerce. It should be noted that much of the volume within our e-commerce channel actually stems from our sales team channeling smaller opportunities to the website and focusing their own attentions on larger opportunities. Consequently, the average order size via the website is about $100, while the average order size for direct sales is about 5 times that. So beyond our own website, ContraPestStore.com, we're also looking to expand into third-party sites such as Amazon. We believe that a non-liquid solution will be best distributed through this approach, which I will touch on in a moment with the upcoming launch of a soft bait solution. The final leg of the commercial stool is distributors, as well as our PMP customers. We have partnered with industry leaders such as Viserys and Target Specialty Products to help move our product to the pest management professionals, of which you can see many that we work with on the left-hand side of the slide. I think it's important to note something that I said a few moments ago about making sure this is a win-win for customers and the pest management professionals. There has been a feeling by many in the organization that there were some missteps along the way in the manner in which we position ContraPest. In the past, it was positioned as a substitute for existing tools. Today, we are positioning it where it belongs, which is a tool in the toolbox of pest management professionals, which allows them to deliver better results for their customers while maintaining an ongoing relationship with that customer. In our opinion, the last missing piece to further expansion by the PMPs, especially the largest in the industry, is to deliver our solution in a similar format to that which they already use, a non-liquid format. Again, this is where soft bait comes in, and I will touch on this briefly. But before I do, a question that we often get is, what's the revenue breakdown by vertical market and channel? As you can see from the chart on the left, e-commerce, driven by the success of ContraPestStore.com, has been an early contributor to top-line growth. Our traction within zoos and sanctuaries continues, and ContraPest is now a major IPM component in 4 out of the top 10 zoos in the U.S. and accounts for 16% of our revenues. Overall, we are now supplying ContraPest to more than 20 zoos in the U.S., highlighting the benefits where the risk of exposure to lethal rodenticides is critical. Besides being a target market in their own right, zoos and sanctuaries are the ultimate influencers in all things animal, so this continues to be a focus segment for us. And as we look to the future, we expect agribusiness to be an increasingly bigger part of our business following last year's introduction of our Elevate delivery system. Of course, the Elevate delivery system better meets the needs of addressing roof rats as they reside above ground, especially in the rafters of barns, granaries, and storage and manufacturing facilities. And finally, as we are seeing significant increases within the government vertical driven by deployments in California and New England, our experience here is that the customers in the government sector require a longer sales cycle, but are very sticky once they get on board. Hopefully, this will provide us a long-term tailwind. So as I mentioned a moment ago, this is one of the imperatives I put forth for us to becoming successful, and that was giving the customer more options. Over the past few years, we have launched our original ultimate product in tank and tray solution. This comes in a standard bait box that is used by pest management professionals. The tank and tray come separate, with professionals screwing the tank onto the zipper tray, which is then placed in the bait box. Started off with that, then we added the Elevate system, first bait system that we are aware of that targets above ground infestations, particularly roof rats, that may not access stations like the Ultimate Station. Taking a step back, when we first introduced ContraPest, we needed to convince the pest control market of two things. One, the value of fertility control as a means of population control, and two, the applicability of a liquid bait into their procedures. At this point, there's growing acceptance of fertility control as part of integrated pest management, but there's still resistance from pest management companies to alter their established practices of utilizing non-liquid products. The current solutions we have in the market, Ultimate, Isolate, and Elevate, are all currently delivered in a liquid form, as rats need to consume about 10% of their body weight in water each day. It is palatable to the rats, it's sweet and fatty, and keeps the rats coming back for more. However, only about 5% of the current rodenticide market is a liquid formulation. The remaining 95% is non-liquid baits. To address this, we are in the final stages of releasing a soft bait formulation, which provides the unique attributes of proven fertility control in an industry familiar soft bait format demanded by many, including big box retailers, key e-commerce channels, and leading pest management professionals. When I took over as CEO at SenesTech, soft bait was one of the key items I quickly identified as a need for us to steepen the curve. I believe its introduction in the coming month will be transformative for our business. We expect to be launching it in October, this month in 2023, and we have very high expectations for this product. So wrapping up this segment of the presentation, when I took over in November, I set forth 3 key imperatives to drive success with the goal of steepening the adoption curves. 1, we will deliver our new and existing customers flawless products that work every time while providing more and more product options to fit their needs. With Isolate recently launched, soft bait on the horizon, and product development, our product development team is already at work with over 25 development projects in progress. We are certainly achieving our objectives. 2, we will penetrate and grow our targeted markets with a new and structured sales force, enhanced e-commerce platform, and improved distribution relationships. And these relationships are focused on providing our customers and partners value by integrating ContraPest as part of their effective integrated pest management programs. And 3, we will make better products. During the third quarter of last year, our customer complaints peaked at 35 complaints per month. Not that high. We were doing an adequate job, but I know we can improve it. During the second quarter of this year, even amidst our higher sales volumes, our complaints averaged less than 5 per month. So concurrent with the introduction of Isolate, we have implemented an enhanced formulation that should improve product quality in a wider variety of environmental conditions. I believe we have made great strides in the area of continuous improvement. I believe we are successfully executing on these imperatives, which should help drive long-term value in SenesTech. With that, let me turn it over to Tom Chesterman, our CFO, to review the financials.
Thank you, Joel. As Joel highlighted in the beginning, we've experienced rapid growth over the past few years, with a sales compound annual growth rate of 87%. Most recently, revenue during the second quarter was a new quarterly record of $305,000, compared to $277,000 in Q2 of 22, an increase in 10%. But sequentially, revenue was up 31% compared to Q1 2023. Sales growth in the second quarter was led by growth in the government vertical, driven by deployments in California and New England, as well as continued traction in the zoos and animal sanctuaries market. Most recent trends confirm that growth is accelerating as our initiatives put place in the first half of the year take hold. Gross profit during the second quarter was approximately $142,000, or 46% of total revenue, compared to approximately $136,000, or 49% of total revenue in Q2 of last year. Excluding the costs related to the introduction of the enhanced formulation and the Isolate bait system mentioned by Joel, I estimate gross profit would have been in excess of 50%. Net loss during Q2 was $2 million compared to a net loss of $2.6 million in Q2 of 22. Adjusted EBITDA loss, which is a non-GAAP measure of operating performance for Q2, was $1.7 million compared to $2.3 million in Q2 of 22. Our current goal is to take $1 million out of the annual cash expenses, and we're well on our way to achieving that goal. I look back and I can recall when the company was burning well over $10 million in cash annually, and we have brought that down to a run rate of under $8 million cash burn annually, all while growing the business, introducing new products, and expanding our reach. Everyone in the management teams knows that fertility control offers customers and the PMPs that service them a powerful, effective, and sustainable tool to control rat infestations. I personally believe that fertility control is a game changer in the industry. We're highly focused on making it the success we know it can be. At the end of June, we had $2.2 million in cash, but in August, we closed on a warrant exercise, which brought in an additional $2.1 million gross proceeds. Net of expenses, our pro forma cash balance would be $4 million. As you can see, our balance sheet otherwise is pretty straightforward. We have no long-term debt and just 5.9 million shares outstanding. We also have 7 million warrants outstanding that can be seen as future potential funding, similar to the recent exercise we just completed. I would also add that we have an S1 on file, ready to execute as conditions warrant. How humanity is currently responding to too many rodents is just not working. With many decades of effort and traditional responses, the public health concerns and the risks keep rising. There's growing realization that there's just too much collateral damage in this war on rodents, as evidenced by California's adoption of the Ecosystems Protection Act, which banned, under many circumstances, the 4 major second-generation anticoagulant rodenticides, or SCARs, commonly used in rodent pest control. These tailwinds are all in our favor, and most importantly, we are executing. We are delivering against our success imperatives, selling better, improving our products, and offering the customers more choices. As was stated in the very beginning, the products that can be paradigm changing don't come along very often. But when they do, they have an opportunity to change the way things have been done for generations. So thank you for your time today. I'll turn it back over to Robert.
Great. Joel, Tom, thank you very much for the time today. We greatly appreciate it. Again, just one final reminder to anyone out there that would like to schedule a one-on-one meeting with management. And if you have not already done so for today, you can shoot me an email, Blum, B-L-U-M, at lythampartners.com, or visit the website, lythampartners.com/virtual. Click on the one-on-one meeting request button, and we'll look to get you taken care of. So, Joel, Tom, thank you very much. We hope you enjoy the conference.
Thank you.